According to that, we're live. So, welcome. Live from the crossroads of America. A talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience. Just put them in the chat or email me at rickslife as I see it at gmail.com or spottedrick at gmail.com. I have a Patreon page and all that good stuff. If anybody's interested, it's all the info down below there on YouTube. And right now, the only person in my chat is also in my panel. It's Kingpin. So, how you doing, Kingpin?
I'm good. I just got a text. I don't think the notifications went out that fast. Jason Stewart will be in shortly.
Oh yeah, Jason Stewart's here now. Raphael's here. So, yeah, YouTube I noticed is slowing up on. But then again, with millions of people,
everybody's home watching fucking YouTube, man. What do you expect?
But where I'm going with this, with millions and millions of people on the internet's not running as fast as it normally does. You know.
That's what.
Anyway, another one is the one and only Tony is here.
Hey.
Long time no see. Good to see you.
And I tried to get in here last week, but my timing was off.
Oh, okay.
I got here as you was shutting down.
Oh yeah. So I do. Sorry about that. So who else we got? So Raphael, Jason, John Brown Productions has joined us. How you doing? So okay, I've introduced my my panel at the moment as it stands, and this is slightly on the topic what you were just talking about before we went live, Kingpin. In my title, it says, "Are your firearms loaded?" You know, if where I'm going with this is like all my firearms are loaded. They always have been. Even the ones in my gun cabinet are loaded. But with this, I mean, it doesn't take much for our civilized society to flip to anarchy. I mean, you've seen it when some of these riots happen, how fast it happens, and the whole city gets in turmoil. I mean, for me, where I'm at, out in the country, I don't think it'd be that bad. But I would imagine, I mean, like you in Baltimore there, Kingpin. I mean, the civil unrest could just happen like a click of the fingers, really, don't you think? With what's going on with this virus.
Well, absolutely, especially in a place specifically Baltimore. People are still having block parties. They're refusing to shelter. They're refusing to social distance. And there's a large majority of the Baltimore City population that are violent, vile criminals already. You know, I mean, it's no secret. I'm not talking trash or being dramatic about it. Everyone in the country, probably people across the world, know how backwards Baltimore City is. I don't think a lot of people realize just how small Baltimore City is. And for civilization to break down in Baltimore City, that's already hardly civilized anyway, you know, it's just a powder keg waiting to explode.
Okay, now, so I mean, I don't know how many guns you own, but are they all loaded? Are you ready? You know, do you keep them loaded?
I've got 22s that are, my Marlins. I don't keep them loaded, just because I don't use them very often. And in a survival situation, I've got other things to fall back on. And I believe that I would have time to throw 18 rounds down my tube fed. I got a couple shotguns that aren't loaded, but, loading gates on my shotguns are really easy to load. I've got far too many AR magazines to load, but I've got quite a few loaded. And all my pistol magazines are loaded. And I don't have every gun chambered. I've got my bedside gun ready to go. But for the most part, all my magazines are for my first grab, my AR-15, different stuff like that. Those are loaded. I've got a few bolt actions that don't have any rounds in them, but once again, they're easy to pop 4 or 5 rounds in and fire if I need to. But those are going to be backup guns and different guns. If I see a crowd coming from down the street, then I'll load the 5 rounds in my 308, my bolt action 308. If I got 5 people at my front door, then I'm grabbing a 30-round AR, which is, like I said, the most of them are already loaded.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, well, let me backtrack because you mentioned it. Yes. I mean, like all my handguns have all the magazines I have for them are loaded, and the magazines in there, but there's not a round chambered yet in them. The only one that's got a round chambered is my actual carry gun. So what about you, Tony? If I mean you're in a town, could civil unrest hit your area where you live?
It could, but it would be on a fairly small scale because there's so few people here. You might see a riot at the grocery store, the gas station, some shit like that. As far as guns, how fucking many guns do I need to have loaded? I got plenty, but not all of them.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You can only fire so many at a time. Yeah.
I did opt to load up the 44 Magnum rifle and the 4570 today, which I haven't been keeping loaded.
Yeah.
Just because I don't want to have to step out my door with a 30-06.
Yeah. Well, that 4570 will stop a few people too in their tracks, won't it?
Yeah, but that's just comfort, man. I don't even use it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, as I said, I believe the country as a whole could turn to anarchy in a heartbeat. It's only because law-abiding citizens like us try to follow the rules that have been set down to make the society work. That's the only thing that's keeping us from being barbaric.
Well, plus you also have your community plays a big part. Like you mentioned, Baltimore City. Baltimore City could collapse any second now, but way out in the sticks, like Tony was mentioning, he lives in a small town. Probably a whole bunch of people know a whole bunch of the people in the town. So your smaller towns out in your suburban and rural communities will more than likely, instead of falling apart and turning on themselves, will first have to do defense against people leaving the highly populated metropolitan areas, such as downtown New York, downtown Baltimore, downtown Chicago, stuff like that. When stuff starts getting crazy and those people start leaving those areas, well, then your rural and suburban communities are going to have to deal with all the influx of those people coming out. So not to say that small town USA couldn't fall apart, but I think it would be a lot less likely, or a lot less later, I should say,
Yeah.
than more big metropolitan areas.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what I was getting at is I mean like where I live. I mean there's not even one store in this town. We got a church. I mean there's nothing here. But if civil unrest came, it would be from like people moving from either Louisville, Kentucky, which is just a few miles away, or Indianapolis from the big cities. As you said, we'll be protecting ourselves from those people coming from those areas. I think if it ever happens.
Well, yeah, a lot of times when people who live in highly populated metropolitan areas, inner cities, they have less potential for having stocked up resources, and they're also encouraged to be more independent. Where your closest neighbors a half a mile away, if you need a cup of sugar, you don't mind driving to the next driveway and knocking on the door at noon or 5, or there's you don't want to knock at 2 o'clock in the morning for a cup of sugar because you have respect for your neighbors.
And
But
they'll fucking shoot you.
yeah, yeah. But if you live in a highly populated apartment building, it's a lot less likely that you're going to knock on the door right across the hall for a cup of sugar. You're going to go to the store and get your own sugar.
Yeah, which is kind of strange, really. You would think it'd be the other way around.
At this point, I think what I'm doing is I'm watching the bigger cities, not Chicago so much, but like Peoria, Bloomington, to see what they're doing because they're close enough to me that they could be a problem should shit fall apart there. Chicago, I would have a few days before I had to worry about people coming out of Chicago, I would say, because, it's 175 miles from here, 150, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep paying attention to what's happening there, but it's not the one that I'm paying close attention to like the locals.
It might be a little callous to say, but going back to Baltimore, when civil unrest happens there, a lot of the bad guys are going to fight each other and not leave the city because they're going to be dead. So your first wave of people out of those cities are generally probably going to be fairly decent people trying to get away from the gangbangers and the drug dealers and the lowlifes.
Yeah, fighting over turf.
That's just a thought. That's not me saying this is what's going to. It's just a thought of what to think about.
Yeah,
I really wouldn't dispute that. That's possible. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either. As I said, I think the criminal element that's already there, they'll be fighting. If they have a chance to take out a rival gang first, they're going to do it. So yeah. Oh, Two Live Moose joined us. Jason Stewart said all his guns were loaded when I had my boating accident. So there you go. Okay, moving on. Now, like Illinois, I believe, is got a statewide, is it lockdown? Or what are they calling it?
Shelter in place order.
Yeah, okay, shelter in place order. Now, do you think, I personally feel, even though what scares me is normally when the federal government says, we're not even thinking of doing that. It hasn't even crossed our mind. Then normally a couple of weeks later it happens. Because right now they're denying that there's going to be a federal national, stay in place order put on the whole country. I think it's going to happen. And that's when I think civil unrest could come, personally. But what's your take on that, Kingpin?
Yes, say again. What was your question again?
Well, it's about states like California, Illinois, New York have put these mandatory stay put orders from the governor for the whole state. I feel that the federal government will do a national, stay in place order for the whole country, all 50 states. And I think that's when civil unrest will happen.
I think that there will be small little pockets of, your anarchists out there that say I'm not going to do what the government says. But I think in general, maybe I'm naive and maybe I'm too optimistic, but I think in general that, especially right now, there's a good chunk of the American population that is ready and willing to sacrifice a little bit of their free movement and freedom to help mitigate the spread. I'm not saying that people are going to give up their rights. I'm talking about people that are going to say, I don't really, even though I'm free to go out and drive around and do what I want, I'm going to take the advice and I'm going to stay home because of X, Y, and Z. So I don't think it's going to turn out that when the government comes in and says you can't leave your house, that millions of people are going to hit the street and start fighting. I just don't see that happening. I think that there'll be small pockets of it, and hopefully that'll be it. But I mean, the potential is definitely there because anytime Big Brother starts telling you what to do, people have the tendency to push back against authority.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Tony about it earlier. Right, be honest with you, we haven't got anything here in Indiana. But, the government said try to stay indoors for the next 15 days or whatever, you know, and I'm doing that. From the day this thing started to now, my actual routine life has not changed one iota, because I stay in most of the time anyway. I go out. The only thing I haven't done is I haven't gone down to the range shooting. You've got mail. But if I need to go get something from the store, I'll drive down there and get it. You know. So I mean,
me too.
Yeah, like I can't sit in Deb's to eat breakfast or anything like that, but I can go in Deb's by takeout if I wanted to. So so my life hasn't changed in that sense, but it's being told what to do eats me, even though I'm doing what they're asking me. Asking me to do something, I'll do it. Tell me to do something, my back goes up. It always has done.
The thing is with Illinois, what they ran into was they asked people to do this, and all these fucking 20-somethings like, fuck you, that don't hurt us none. And they're out there doing whatever the fuck they want. And the governor said, well, seeing how you won't listen, here we go.
Yeah.
That's a big problem right there, is the fact that right now governors and mayors and the president are making requests. And when you decide that screw your request, I'm going to do what I want, eventually they will force things upon people. And the government will force things upon you. You can talk about how tough you are and my cold dead hands and shall not be infringed and all this other kind of stuff. When an overpowerful government comes and forces you in your house, you're staying home or you're going to some detention camp. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not trying to promote authoritarianism, but when your mom asked you, be nice, don't do that, don't go outside, and you do what I want, then your mom tells you what to do, and then there's consequences once you've been told what to do. So if you don't want to heed a request, then you're going to be forced to follow an order.
See, what Illinois is attempting to do is limit grouping of people. They don't want more than 6 people to get together, trying to slow the spread of this shit. And a lot of people can't seem to grasp that this shit will kill people.
Yeah, you're right, and I agree. But what's scary? If more states start doing this, or even the president states we're going to have a national stay-in-place order, there's always that chance. Or normally when somebody achieves power or authority, it's very hard for them to give it up. So if the country says we're going to national stay in place order, and if you don't do it, there's going to be maybe fines, or as you said, send to some detention center or something like that. Once the virus is gone, they've got this extra power over us. Now they've come in and taken our rights away from us without us even trying. Are they going to release it and give our rights back to us?
Well, they really won't have a hell of a lot of choice if they don't want to crush the economy.
So I don't know. It's maybe I should be on the Gay Frog chat. Maybe I'm getting too deep into this, thinking too much of it.
That's a good question. That's a good topic to bring up, because we can go back to I guess which is probably the most famous thing right now, where Nancy Pelosi was pushing for money for illegal immigrants and Planned Parenthood and emergency coronavirus funding. So it's not like just because the coronavirus is around that all of these politicians have all of a sudden became public servants. So it's definitely something that you got to consider is once they grab you by the throat, will they ever let go?
Yeah,
Loosening the grip is not letting go. It's just loosening the grip.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I remember like this when I was working for the federal government. I was in a managerial position, so I had, for lack of a better word, I had authority, power over the department or store or whatever I was running. I was the head cheese. When I left that job and I went back to being a worker, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done because I had to give up that power that I had. And that's what I'm saying about the government. Once they've got, as you said, once they got their hand on your throat, it's hard to let go of that once you got it. And that's the scary thing, I think.
Well, that's where I've talked about it before. I understand if the three of us are sitting here in this room, Rick, and you want to have power over me and Tony. I understand that because I understand human nature enough to know that we all desire control and power over the people and things that surround us. What I don't understand is Tony and I sitting over here trying to figure out how to give you that power. Every time you reach over to take something from me, I should slap at your hand and say, no, no, no. Instead, we have a lot of people that are just handing you, here, Rick, here, take this, Rick, where you don't have to come after it. That's what I don't understand is when people voluntarily give up their rights and their freedoms to a despot. Yeah, I understand the despots and the dictators. I don't understand the people who willingly become slaves.
Well, I mean, but what's scary? I mean, we could become those slaves if they decide not to. If they go for a national lockdown and when the coronavirus is under control, they they don't have to release it. The authoritarian dictatorship over us. Well, now that we've got you doing what we want, this is how it's going to be from now on. You're going to do this, this, and this.
And that's where I would hope that the sense of Americanism would come through. And hey, we allowed you this power and we followed your directions and your rules and your orders to help each other. Now that this is over, you're going to let us go or we're going to push back. It's hard to really tell what will happen. But going back to what Tony was saying, heed advice and requests before they become orders, and we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, what's called it? John Brown Productions says I stopped going to any place except the doctor's office. I am 68 with diabetes. Okay, I right now in my life, I feel fine. When I say I feel fine, I'm no worse than I have been for the last few months. I had a doctor's appointment. And I called him up and said, "Do you want me to come in?" Because it was just a routine 3 months checkup. The only thing that I'm missing now is I have blood work done every 3 months to keep an eye on my diabetes, my A1C. But last time they done it, I was 6.1, which is damn good. And when I said, "You need to see me," they said, "Well, that's entirely up to you." So I deferred it until next month. I just delayed it a month. Because my medication's up to date. I got all my prescriptions filled. So I can't. I just rescheduled that appointment because I couldn't see the point of going just for and there might be the chance that I am in that category that they say has a chance because I have underlying conditions. So I don't want to catch it if I can help it.
No shit.
But I said it. If I want to jump in my car when this show's over and go down to the store, I'm going to do it.
Well, see, this is also an opportunity talking about the government not taking power or not relinquishing power that it's been given during times like this. This is where we all, every one of us, I don't care how much you hate Donald Trump, I don't care how much you hate the United States, I don't care how racist you think I am, we all, as Americans, every single American, whether you're a citizen or you're just a part of the territories or whatever, sovereign, blah, 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 we need to demand less dependency on foreign nations for anything. Toothpaste, medicine, paper clips, whatever it is, we are far, far too dependent on other nations. Look how China has already come out and said that they're going to cut us off of our medication to kill Americans, to watch Americans die. That's the head of the propaganda ministry in China. That's the head of the, I guess you would call like their version of the health department, the Health and Human Services in China. Made a public statement that they're going to cut us off on medication and watch us die.
Yeah, yeah. You got any input on that, Tony?
Nah, I don't keep up with that shit much.
All right, all right. But I don't know. It's just I don't know. I think maybe I get too deep into this. I think it. I think too much into it. And I think everything's going to be okay. Things will go back to normal. Stock market will climb up. The economy. I mean, okay. Here's a question for you. I was reading this earlier today before I came online, or before I went. Was with this virus, with the stock market crash, the economy. We don't know about the economy till the figures haven't come out yet, but we know it's got to hurt. Plus, they're talking about 2 million people signing up on unemployment this week, right? Is all this going to hurt Donald Trump's chance of winning a second term in November?
Kind of depends on what happens. I mean, if what they're hoping happens with these shelter-in-place orders and stuff, there's a possibility, but it's less likely. You know, if we get through this with a minimal amount of people dying, the stock market will come back. It always fucking has.
So you think this virus, however this virus turns out, is going to make the difference of whether Trump gets reelected or we get Biden?
Well, not just how the virus turns out, the actions that are taken and how that kind of translates to the public perception.
Well, I mean, as of right now, what do you think? If the election was on Monday, how do you think it would turn out?
Trump would win, landslide.
You still think he's got the momentum like he had?
Jesus Christ, he had the mayor of New York City praising him for what he was doing. Yeah, I think he does.
The only way that this is going to affect Donald Trump getting reelected, and Joe Biden's not. If Donald Trump gets 10 zillion people killed overnight and it turns out that he's lied and it's totally his fault, the Democrats are not going to run Joe Biden. Don't think of that for 1 second. That's not going to happen. They got Joe Biden in there because they know they're going to lose. If they thought they had a chance to win, Joe Biden would not be their candidate, period. Only way that Donald Trump is not going to win, every day when the news calls him a racist and says, why are you calling it the China flu, and smashing him every day, more and more people hop on the Trump train. Whether they're on the Trump train because they decide they like Trump now, or they're just on it because they're sick of the propaganda that people are pushing and the disgusting things that people are saying. Only way that Donald Trump is going to be affected by this is if it's proven that he lied and it gets hundreds of thousands of people killed. Right now, if the election was tomorrow, Donald Trump would probably come as close to possible as setting the record that Reagan set in the election. Reagan won, what was it, all but one state or something crazy like that. Some outrageous amount of numbers that he won.
Yeah, I can't remember tell you what it was, but it was a landslide.
Yeah. So if it was today, I believe Trump would come very close to that. But it's all depending on whether or not they cover stuff up. If they're lying and covering stuff up and it comes out, then he's gone.
Yeah, the
Or
media.
if he came out today and said we're suspending the Second Amendment or we're suspending the First Amendment, then he's going to have a problem. But he's not going to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Also, the oh hell, I forgot what I was going to say there. Damn it.
That's another reason why I'm not too worried about Trump saying he's going to do martial law, because he'd rather leave it to the states so he doesn't look like a bad guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I also noticed. Have you noticed that some of these like mayors and stuff have come out and said, if things come to the worst, we're going to do it. Nobody's come out and actually specified firearms because they know they don't want to be taken to court.
Well, the thing is they have, because firearms are non-essential businesses. So now every fucking gun store in the state's closed.
In your state?
Yeah, mine and California, New York, I'm sure. That.
But yeah, and that's happening in anti-gun states anyway. It hasn't happened in any state that's got constitutional carry. Hasn't happened in my state. So I think it's Mr. Knives is in here. How you doing? Ain't seen you in ages.
And we thought you did.
Yeah. He's in here. Yeah, I mean, okay. But the media right now is saying Trump is lying. Like he came out with and said they found a drug that's going to work. Then the FDA come back. Whoa! No, we haven't approved it yet. And so they're saying Trump lied. It's going to be approved in the next couple of days. He was just saying that it is going to happen. Just because it hasn't happened yet, to me, doesn't make it a lie. Now that drug they're talking about, the anti-malaria drug, here you go. I got 3 months worth in this bottle right here. That drug. The same name. It's prescribed because besides malaria, it's also been approved for people with arthritis to help block the stuff that makes your joints hurt. I've been on it for years.
Now, I seen the press conference where Trump was talking about that. He did not say we found a drug that cured this shit. He said we found a drug that shows promise.
Yeah, but what they're saying it's been approved. See, because you can't, a doctor can't prescribe this drug if it hasn't been approved for what they're prescribing it for. If this wasn't approved by the FDA to also help with arthritis, it wouldn't have been prescribed to me because the doctor would get his ass in a bind. And so, yes, the FDA hasn't approved it yet for this coronavirus or whatever, this 19 whatever. It hasn't been approved for that yet, but it will be within the next few days, I reckon. So, no, I'm just saying it, but I've been taking it for years now. So, am I going to catch the virus because I'm on it now? Or is it going to protect me for it? Because my body's full of it. I take that twice.
Are you going to go out and kiss somebody that has the damn thing and see?
No.
That's what we need. We need people to test.
No, I'm not going to test it.
For a team, Rick.
What?
Yeah, take a hit for the team.
Yeah. To see if this stuff really works, huh? But I said I got my 90-day supply right here, so I'm good. I've been taking this now for, about 4 years.
You could rename the show Patient Zero's Life as I See It.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's why I'm feeling good because it's protecting me. I don't know. So
Well, why don't you send me a fistful just in case?
I know says if it gets much worse, I'm going to have to sell my body for a burrito and a box of 9mm. Oh God, I don't think you even get that much for your body, unknown user.
You certainly won't get a roll of Charmin.
Yeah. So
At
as
the
I
point
was
now
saying,
where it's cheaper
as
to
I
wipe
was
your ass with dollar bills.
as I was saying the other day, that my 4-pack of toilet roll that I have my 12 gauge shotgun sitting there next to it. I had to break it open and put a roll on the holder, so I'm down to 3 plus the one on the wall. So but I'm guarding it with that Maverick 88 with 00 buckshot. So come and try to take my toilet paper. You know. Yeah. And I mean, there's still. I mean, our stores. I mean, I think I know User said he went shopping this morning. Was it Walmart? Yeah, 8 a.m. this morning, and brought a buggy of stuff. But pickings were so slim that only one item in my cart was something that I actually ate before. You know. So I mean, or I said I go. I mean, I went to the last store I went to was the Family Dollar down in Birdseye, and the milk truck hadn't arrived. They had bread, and they didn't have the whole toilet roll section was wiped out, but they had paper towel. If you're that
And
desperate,
that sounds just like my Dollar General here.
yeah. Now I haven't been to a big box store like Walmart's or Kroger's or anything like that. Are they? Are they? I mean, are groceries in general suffering?
I had to go. I don't shop at Walmart. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say I don't know. You see it online where they're showing fucking empty grocery aisles, but I have not been to one here lately.
Okay.
My friend works at probably the most popular grocery store in our area, and for 2 days they got wiped out. They made over $1 million in a day, and that's a massive number. The last time I was in there, there was certain stuff that was missing. Like my friend asked me to pick him up a bottle of ketchup, and there was none. So I had to go to Walmart to get it. And I don't shop at Walmart because I just don't like being in Walmart. Not because I'm anti-corporation or anything like that. I just don't like Walmart. And they had pretty much anything you wanted. There was some stuff that was slim on the shelves, but for the most part, it was all right.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, talking about my life, is anything changing in my life? I mean, I normally do my big shopping when I get paid. So I normally do my big shopping once a month. Then I supplement, with a little running down to the dollar store or running to some other, or I run back to Walmart if I need something I've forgotten or something like that. But this time, because I don't know, I was thinking of maybe phoning it in or do it online here and just pick it up. Well, I mean,
Now you can go through Amazon; they'll bring it to your fucking door.
true.
Amazon Pantry.
Good point.
If you have that option, no matter what it is, if you have the option to call your local store, whether you're getting cigarettes or whether you're getting groceries or whether you're getting a new pair of shoes, and have the order waiting for you, do that because that's under social distancing. That's what they've been recommending. If you can carry out, if you can pre order and carry out, do that.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's more like what I'll do is I'll go online a few days before and fill up my shopping cart. Then once I get paid, hit the buy button and go from there. You know. So, but Amazon sounds even better. I might. Let's see. Yeah, have it delivered right to my house. That way, I wouldn't even have to go out. You know.
And even that, they recommend when you go to your mailbox or you get a shipment from FedEx, Amazon, or whatever, Open the stuff outside, and then bring your stuff inside, and then wash your hands. You know, that may sound stupid and that may sound conspiratory, but what would it hurt? As long as it's not pouring down rain or negative 50 degrees when your package shows up, open it outside and then come inside with the products and then wash your hands.
Yeah, that's a good, useful tip. A unknown user says, I use the Walmart pickup service all the time. It's a lifesaver for people like us. Oh, yeah. I can imagine it is. Because, I mean, going shopping is sometimes if my back's hurting or anything like that, and I'm not, or the arthritis is flaring up, it's a chore. It becomes a chore, you know, lifting groceries out of the basket back into the vehicle. Then when you get home, lifting them out of the vehicle. If I've only got to do it once, say if I can save myself lifting it into the vehicle, and all I got to do is lift it out of the vehicle, because I believe the pickup service, they put it in your vehicle for you.
My friend played a pretty good prank on me yesterday. Him and his wife went to the grocery store to get, our regular groceries and then stop at Walmart to get our regular stuff. And apparently he had a bunch of bags wrapped around his wrist. So, carry as many bags as one time that you don't have to make so many trips. And he got a big red mark across his wrist. So he sent me a picture and said, I just got in a fight in Walmart and look how tight the cops had the cuffs on me. And I felt for it. He laughed about that. He dragged me on for about 20 minutes and then he finally called me. I was like, I'm just kidding, right?
My old lady come out here this morning and asked if we wanted to go grocery shopping because our shelter-in-place order starts at 5 o'clock tonight. And I'm like, we got at least 4 weeks worth of food here, if not 5 or 6. No, I ain't going out today for nothing.
Yeah, but if you do, you can get into that prepper mode. For you have plenty there if it ever happens again, or you're stuck down longer than 4 weeks.
I'll go out in a week or so when the hysteria has dimmed a little.
Yeah, you're right.
I went to YouTube Studio earlier today and looked up my analytics on my how to buy a gun in Maryland.
Yeah.
And that's usually one of my better performing, like all my Maryland gun law videos perform pretty well.
Yeah.
I had 81 views in 48 hours. Normally I get 25 views on that video in 48 hours. I had 81 videos and I don't know, 5 or 6 people commented asking me how to buy a gun and all this other kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people there who, I'm not saying they're anti-gunners, but they're all, they're on the fence. I don't care if you have one, but I don't want one. I think they're the ones that are going out there or buying it.
I had 2 people ask me today about buying a gun. I told them, I said, you're fucking shit out of luck now because the gun stores will close and you can't get the gun after you buy it because you have a waiting period. They won't be open.
Plus, don't you have to get permission to buy it there or get that FOID card or whatever?
Yes, but I didn't even think about that part. I'm just thinking about you can't buy a fucking gun now anyway. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is, if they couldn't have bought one anyway if the gun stores are open because you need a FOID card. So I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, so I'm hoping some of those people who've gone to the stores or whatever or called up Bud's Guns and said, I want a gun and ship it to my house, and they said it don't work that way. I hope they remember that when it comes voting time. Do you think they will?
I think for the most part, if you're desperate for a gun, you can order a cap and ball or a muzzle loader and get it sent to your house.
Yeah, but your normal anti-gunner doesn't know that.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the number of firearm-related injuries from these idiots that order black powder guns and don't know how to use them, and then they blow up in their hands.
Oh yeah, yeah. And also, I'm glad. I mean, I've seen a couple of videos on people saying it too, and I don't get, non-gun owners on my little chat here because I'm so small. But if you know somebody who's never had a gun and they've gone and bought one, tell them get some training, or you take them out somewhere to show them. Or I mean, you don't even have to take them out. You can show them how to handle a gun without any ammo in it. Give them some sort of basic training on how to handle it, and all this kind of stuff. Because that could lead to trouble. I mean, just because you own a gun doesn't mean you know how to use it. But you have a right to own it. I'm not saying you have to have training to own one. No, you don't. But I think you would feel better on how to handle it and use it if you had the training. To me, that's what I did. I had lessons to learn how to shoot a gun because I never had one before. So I don't know. If I had just gone in the store and bought one and brought it home, I don't know if I would have got into guns like I am now.
Trigger discipline. I mean, like, I watch Hogan's Heroes every day, and they always carry guns around, and every character's always got their hand on the trigger and pointing it right at, Newkirk's pointing a gun directly at Colonel Hogan's face with his finger on the trigger. Because Hollywood, and they just don't know no better. So that you got to think that, like, the 4 rules of gun safety, people don't realize that. And,
I mean, you see it today.
You're showing your new gun, and you're going to blast somebody.
Oh yeah, you even see it in TV shows when the person has a finger on the trigger as they're walking around the house, and stuff like that. But there is some shows that their props department must know a little bit about firearms because there's some actors who actually have a little bit of trigger discipline. I've noticed, but not many.
Well, if you go check, I've never seen the movies, but I've seen, video clips from people training, like Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry for, like, the John Wick movies.
Yeah.
They go through vigorous training with guns and a lot of times live fire training before they go and shoot those movies. So some small little itty bitty infantile number of Hollywood and television are getting real training. Other ones are just, here's the prop gun, action.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you. But I'm hoping that the new gun owners, have fun, be careful, gun safety all the way, but I hope you enjoy having that firearm and using it, i.e. in a sense, like going out to the range and practicing. God forbid we ever have to use it in self-defense. That's the last thing I ever want for anybody, myself included. But if you don't practice, it's like anything else. It's like it's a perishable item. If you don't practice, or if you practice to get to a certain state, I mean, like me, I haven't been to the range. I've gone to the range twice so far this year. What we are almost in the 4th month, and normally I'm a pretty good shot. But I said last time I went, it took me a couple of magazines to get myself back on track. So it's a perishable item. You lose your skill, or it diminishes, I think. In my personal opinion. But there we go. There is one thing I wanted to bring up real quick. Is that bill that the government's trying to slip in, HR 5717, the Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act of 2020. Have you guys seen it? It is the biggest. Any anti-gun bill they've tried to put in the past, every one of them is in this bill. This bill must be 30 or 40 pages long. It's enormous. See you, Mr. Knives. Thanks for stopping by. I mean, they've got things where they want a gun registry. You got to be licensed to buy a gun. You can't get a license for a gun till you have live fire training, but you can't have live fire training until you get a license. So basically, you can't get a gun. The way it's worded. So
they try this shit every 6 fucking months, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is back to what Kingpin said earlier, right? During this coronavirus, Pelosi tried to slip a goddamn multi-billion-dollar deal in there for the abortion people. They're trying to slip this through the cracks during this national emergency. So we got to keep on it, keep on top of them. Grim 90. Gun shops will be open in Illinois. It will be up to the shop. Our shop will be open on Tuesday again, but limited hours and 10 in store at a time for the retail only. Range is closed.
Really? That's fucking good news.
Yeah, that's from Grim 90. I don't know where he is in Illinois, but his shop is going to be open on Tuesday. Where I'm looking at, what happened there? What happened here? Oh, okay. I see why. I was just about ready to read it. Oh, here we go. Unknown user. 4 laws of gun safety. 1. You must flip a revolver closed. Must flip a revolver closed for the cool factor. 2. Reholstering requires 1 full twirl first. 3. Never load your pump shotgun until a burglar can hear it. Oh yeah, yeah. And 4. Yell yeet. That's funny.
Well, I'll tell you, man. You flip my fucking revolver's closed, I'm gonna take it away from you, slap you, and then shoot you with it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's one of the worst things you can do with them.
The first time I got to be in. A friend of mine used to work for the government. This is many, many, many years ago. So he had a gun room, and I'd never experienced anything like that. I walked in, and there's just guns everywhere. And he was showing me his guns and stuff. And I grabbed his revolver, and I did that. I flipped it shut. Oh, my gosh. I thought he was going to kick the living crap out of me. I was like, what? He was like, don't ever do that to my gun again.
Yeah. Because it puts a strain on it. Doing it, So, all right, real quick before we carry on, it's an hour's gone by, so I'm going to do my quiz from last week. All right, so I had let's have a look. Actually, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries for my swag pack, and the question was. Why does, on a Gadsden flag, or whatever you want to call it, why does the snake have 8 pieces and not 13? The answer I got and looked up, and the one I'm using, which other people got, might have worded it slightly different, but meaning the same thing. New England was represented as one segment rather than the 4 colonies it was at the time. Delaware was not listed separately as it was part of Pennsylvania. Georgia, however, was omitted completely. Thus, it has 8 segments of a snake rather than the traditional 13 colonies. There you go.
Yeah, because you motherfuckers from New England don't matter.
So, let me hit my draw now button and see who we got. Mel Smith is the winner. I don't know if he's in here today or not, but
I don't know who the hell that is.
What?
So I don't even know who the hell that is.
Oh, yeah, he comes in here, Mel Smith.
Man, I've been out of the game for a while, I guess.
Yeah, you have. You have. All right. This week's.
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if I've done it before, but I'm going to do it again anyway. So this one here is. You ready for this one? This is to do nothing to do with the United States. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 constitutional countries: England, Scotland, Wales, which make up Great Britain, and Northern Ireland. What I want to know is, out of those 4 countries, which make up, the United Kingdom, what's the name? One of those 4 countries, the police are issued firearms. Every policeman is issued a firearm. Which country is that? And not only which country is it, what is their standard sidearm? There you go. You got it. Out of the 4 countries of the United Kingdom, which one every member of the police force is issued a firearm, and what is that standard firearm they are issued? There you go.
You think anybody in this place is going to give a fuck about
that? Or spottedrick@gmail.com. What was that, Tony?
So do you think anybody in here is going to give a fuck about that?
Google it. Give you something to do this afternoon. Oh, I know you just said rigged. I never win. Shit. You won twice last month. You got a double package in the mail. Unknown user. Yeah, your name was in there. I think my random picker knows not to pick you anymore. I think. Oh. All right, New York Outcast has joined us. How's it going in the shutdown there in New York?
I'm surviving, Ray. Sorry, that was late. So I've had a lot of people contacting me, trying to ask information and different things. So
okay, but
my phone out this morning.
Now, as Tony and I were talking about, because I live out in the country. He lives in a small town in Illinois. My everyday life really hasn't changed that much from what I was doing before the virus. Has your life changed a lot? Being in the shutdown?
Yeah, mine's changed a bit. My lady's not at work anymore. Some of my work slowed down. I have customers that prefer I'm not in their home. So they've asked me to do like outside things and whatnot. Travels, kind of, you can get around during the day, no problem, but they do have a curfew at 10 o'clock in the evening.
They have a curfew.
Most places are closed. I'm sorry, what's that?
They have a curfew.
Yes. Yeah.
What if you're caught out after 10 o'clock?
It wasn't really made clear, so honestly, I don't know. Our local mayor had issued the curfew, so obviously you can still go back and forth to work, or if there's some type of medical emergency. But most places are pretty much closed down here as far as work-wise. It's not a store or gas station. Most places are pretty much shut down at this point. Some are doing drive out, like takeout, but they have to be down to 75%. Only 25% of their staff can be allowed on site.
But that mayor putting a curfew, to me, don't get me wrong, we were talking about this earlier. I'm doing what I'm asked to do by the government, right? Because I'm doing it because I want to get this thing over with for the country and get back to normal. But putting a curfew on, to me, that's overstepping. Or am I looking at this wrong?
I don't know. I guess it's a matter of debate either way. I think it's I believe it's to help keep all the kids off the street at night. So unfortunately, a lot of kids kind of have, not necessarily unfortunately, but a lot of kids have been running around kicking trash and creating issues. So they're trying to calm down that, I believe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it goes back to what Kingpin was saying. They ask you nicely, and if you don't do what they ask, then than they do it by ordering you. You know. So, well, I mean, that makes. I mean, as I said, I think the government can plant. If the government wants to put their boot on your neck, they're going to do it. You know. Personally, I think, but yeah, to put. I mean, but I guess that's the thing in me that I fight against being told what to do. Even when I was a worker, I didn't want to be told what to do. If my boss asked me to do something, I would do it. If he would ask me to stay late, I would do it. But telling me I got to do something or telling me I got to stay late, it was F you, or I would do it grudgingly, but I would do it, you know. But I've been that way my whole life. So giving me a curfew would really piss me off. So
it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strange feeling. So I can say I'm not a fan of it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, I don't have to go out at that point. So, in one way, it seems like it shouldn't matter if I wanted to. But another way, it's like, well, I don't want to risk having to be arguing on the side of the road. I just felt like driving around. So,
yeah, I understand.
Now,
No,
my predicament in my area, it's probably not the best move for me to do unless I have a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
Now, Rick, let's be honest. How often do you go out after dark anyway?
Not very.
So a curfew really wouldn't fucking matter to you.
It wouldn't affect me any. No, you're right. But it's still the principle of the thing. You know, I mean, my truck sits out under my out there under my carport. I don't drive it every day, but I know it's out there if I want to. You know. I mean, if that like that when I first moved here, what was it? Well, I moved here in October, but I think it was after Christmas. My truck broke down and it wasn't working right for about 2 weeks. I mean, that was driving me crazy, knowing I couldn't jump in my truck and go somewhere if I wanted to. You know,
shit, my truck sits here right behind me, man. If I had webcam, you'd be looking at the truck.
Yeah, but how would you? And you can jump in anytime you like and go. But what happens if that truck wasn't there, or it doesn't start?
Then I'd go get in my Suburban and drive it.
But you got a vehicle, is what I'm trying to say. What happens if you had no vehicle? It would drive you crazy.
And my lazy ass would be getting up out of his chair, walking to get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, but
otherwise, I don't need any.
Yeah, I mean that's one good side thing of this thing is I don't smoke, so I don't have to worry about going out every couple of days to buy cigarettes, you know. Yeah, the few ruin it.
Why, man?
Time. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's what it is. I understand New York Outcast. The youngsters are ruining it for everybody. But what I heard the other day is some states are letting prisoners go. And they're not arresting. If they arrest somebody, they're just taking their name and address and they're letting them go. Now, to me, that's why I think gun stores or gun sales need to stay open. And I think really I think President Trump should say these stupid gun laws, like waiting periods and all that need to be nixed. Because I mean, you're letting criminals out of jail. You're letting criminals go because you don't want to put them in jail. And all you're doing is putting them back out into the prey on the public. And who are they going to prey on? The old and the ones who don't have, the ones who can't protect themselves. That's asinine. It really is.
I believe that's Philadelphia, Rick. I'm not sure if others have followed suit yet, but I'm pretty sure that was a public thing in Philadelphia. And I think people see it as like, it could be a good thing because it doesn't choke up the system. But a lot of criminals, people get away with what you allow them to. And I think some have no hesitation, and little things like petty theft, which could be perceived as little things, now it could be a lot more serious when replacements are a lot harder to find, especially if it's somebody's medication or things like that. The hardship that could be placed on an individual, I would see as a more serious crime at this point, personally. So I agree. I think they should state something. If you're a legal citizen, they should put a pause on all the gun control crap and let legal citizens be armed, personally.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant. Legal citizens. I'm not saying don't let a hardened felon have a firearm. I'm talking about legal citizens.
I'm glad to hear that gun shops.
The what?
I'm glad to hear the gun shops are still open here in Illinois. Hell, they should be the last thing to close.
I think so too. I don't know. It's a strange one.
And close only after I got all the guns I can carry.
Hey, now the next question is on the stimulus check. I'm on Social Security disability. And yes, I earn more than the national average does on that, but I still don't earn enough. I don't even have to file income, federal tax or state tax. I'm exempt from it because of being on disability and not earning enough. And so I'm not going to get a check because they're going to do it on past tax returns.
That's right. And I'm going to have 2 children dependent on it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like the kind of person that needs that money. And I'm not even in the system to get it. That sucks.
Connery told me to make sure that I rubbed you about this one.
Yeah, thanks. I thought he would. Yeah. So, did I understand the rules right? Did any of you guys looked into it? I know you're not. Unknown user. Do you file a tax return? He's an old boy like me.
I do.
Yeah, but you do because of your wife.
Right, and they're going back 2018 when I still had the grandkids on it.
Yeah. So you should get the money, unless they send it directly to them.
No, because they only have listed my bank account for all of them.
Okay, direct deposit right into your bank account. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only blessing thing out of this is I'm still going to I'll be getting my Social Security check like normal, because it's done by direct deposit. So, but I won't get the $1,200.
Sorry, I just saying, does anybody know when those checks are supposedly come out?
They ain't even passed it yet.
No, they ain't. But they're talking about one within 2 weeks of it passing. Hopefully, it's meant to be done by next week, because it's one of these weird ones. The Senate has done it, then they got to pass it, then they got to send it over to the House. Now, the House is Democrat controlled. I mean, Pelosi could be an ass and kibosh it totally. She might want to try to slip her billions back in for her abortion thing before she signs it. Before they approve it. They say, well, we want to add this to it. I don't know.
My concern is that the timing when they actually roll it out, if they roll it out. I think if that money comes out anywhere near the 1st, there's going to be another interruption in the supply chain. I can't speak for everywhere, but my area is still pretty much wiped out. They are getting deliveries, but people are still buying it up as quick as deliveries are coming in.
Yeah, but as I said, they will. I think what they said was within 2 weeks of it being passed, they would try to get the checks out. Now, does that mean actual physical checks or direct deposit? I don't know. Then you would get another check about 30 days later. I think that's what they were saying. Okay, unknown users in the same boat as I am. He doesn't file either. So unknown user, we ain't gonna get that check if it gets passed. Now Ozzy Osbourne tells me I should call the IRS. What, and say, don't forget to put me on the list? So I don't know. No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the way I read it is we're not going to get it because we didn't file a tax return. You know, and the stupid thing is, I thought, well, I'll beat the system because the way one article I read, it said they're going to use if you filed your 2019 already, they'll use that, or they go to 2018. I don't know which one they're going to use. See, but I haven't filed either, so I thought, well, I'll file one. I thought I'll try to beat the system. I'll file one. Well, I filled out here online. I filled it out. I used 4 different free, you know, because you can thing your taxes online. You know, because you're just doing the 1040 easy form or whatever it is, right? But every time I went to file it, it said you can't electronically file. You have to mail it in because I don't have a W-2. You know, I thought, God damn, I'm trying to do the right thing and they won't even let me do it.
Trying to do the right thing, my ass.
Trying to get paid.
Trying to circumvent the system. You know? Yeah.
Monetary motivation.
Yeah. Southpaw RX. Don't panic buy, but did you pick up some carry ammo and mag super cheap from my local shop? It pays to get to know your local shops. Oh yeah. Oh my little local gun store. I haven't gone in there. I haven't bought any ammo. As I said, I've got 3 containers here full. Most of it is actually 45 ACP. I'll be honest with you. But there's some 9mm in there. There's some 38 specials. And as I was talking to Tony earlier today, that like when I was talking on the chat in the mornings and stuff, or before, is I'll sit here and load my 380s. Even if I load just 25, you know, I've loaded a couple of hundred over the last few days. You know, so there we go.
I've got enough loaded here to last me for a day or two, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm not going to say how much I got because fuck, people don't need to know that, especially people in power.
Did you get? Yes, I did. Thank you very much, 2 Live Moo. Yes, I did. I actually, because I made my own defense ammo, but I mean, I got defense ammo in my own defense ammo in my 380 right now, but my backup, my spare mag has the ammo that you sent me. So I do appreciate it. And I fired the, you sent me some, too. Some bolt ammo. I shot that down the range the other day. So there we go.
Fuck, you want my address, man? I can always use some more, even though I got a bunch.
You know?
Yeah, I can give you mine as well.
Yeah, well, you're not a superstar like I am. That's the problem, see?
I was.
Yeah, you were on the morning show for a long time. You know?
Nah, man. I ain't loading anything. I got.
No, I'm not. I mean, I appreciate that. I really did. That I appreciate it when you guys send me stuff. I really do. You don't know how much I do. Whether it's You know, people people send me a bunch of. I think some of you guys send me back my prizes when I say I need some more stuff for my swag packs. I'm running out of stickers and stuff. People, a bunch of you guys mail me, envelopes full of them, which I really appreciate.
Hey,
what?
I actually bought shit and sent to you.
Yes, you
To
did.
give away.
Yes, you did, and I appreciate it. I appreciate
Hey,
everything.
I don't get people's hesitancy to reload their carry ammo because what better way to make absolutely certain you've got the best possible freaking load available than there is to put it together yourself?
I guess it comes down to. I mean, no, I carry. I mean, I said I started carrying mine. I've tested it, and my load works and everything. So I carried it, but I mean, I was given some defensive ammo, so I thought, well, hell, I might as well use it. It was given to me, you know. So
Well,
there we go.
I don't have a problem with that, but I mean, there's a
I
certain
think what
segment of people
I think
out
what
there.
it comes down to is whether I was hesitant to use. I was hesitant to make my own defensive ammo because I guess I wasn't confident enough in my reloading ability. But I said I made a bunch of defense ammo, and I fired it on the range, and it all worked. So I thought, hell, why not? I'm doing it right. So
I would suggest that people may not make, super plus B plus magnums because you might have to explain that one in court. But
thank you, Southpaw. I appreciate that comment. You know, I have some great giveaways and a great show as well. Thank you very much. Oh, Ozzy Osborne said, tell Tony that G Web was asking about him just last night. So you'd be missed, Tony.
well, that's nice.
Oh,
You
yeah.
see him telling thanks and I'm doing okay.
There you go. The word will get back to him by somebody. All right.
I chat with these guys in the morning. Otherwise, I ain't online doing anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Talking about that, let me see if I can bring it up real quick. While we're here, you guys got anything you want to talk about? Kingpin or New York?
No, I was just going to say, I think a lot of people's issues with reloading defensive ammo comes back to legal, having to stand and account for it in court if it is used, not stating one way or another if it's good or bad. I think that's what a lot of people's issues are with reloading their own defensive ammo.
You want to do a cut of the week today, Rick?
Actually, be honest with you, I forgot. Oh, I know. Hang on, I'm trying to. Okay. Hang on a minute. I'm trying to chew gum and talk at the same time. I'm putting a link in the chat, and that is the Discord server or room that we use to talk in the mornings. We're normally there from about 11 a.m. Monday to Friday. It goes from 11 a.m. onwards. I mean, it's 11 a.m. here on the East Coast, but you're on the West Coast. It's 3 hours earlier, So that's where we're at. Okay. Yes, I was asked to talk about beef Wellington. Beef Wellington is it's a filet mignon wrapped in a crust. Basically, is what it is. And I don't know why I was asked to talk about it, but I can't afford to eat it. But you take a filet mignon, make some, like a pastry crust, and you roll the filet up in it and bake it in the oven for filet mignon does not take long to cook at all because it's such a tender meat. Depending on the size. I mean, an average filet mignon is what, 3.5 pound on average. You can get them bigger, but that's about the average. That would take maybe 45 minutes to cook. So, and then you slice it and serve it with potatoes and a vegetable of some sort. No, that's about all I know. I really didn't come up with one, and I remember somebody mentioned it to me, and I was going to get more detail, but to be honest with you, I forgot. And that's the honest truth. I totally forgot about the cut of the week to do something. So I do apologize for that. But I'm gonna make some Yorkshire pudding tomorrow. And the key to that is making the batter. I got the recipe in the other room. I don't have it with me, but basically it's eggs, milk, water, salt, pepper. And that's about it. You mix it all up into a batter. Let it sit out to get the room temperature. Then what I found is the best way of cooking it is using, and I got this from Angelina, is use a cast iron, whatever you got in cast iron. I mean, the only cast iron thing I got is my frying pan. It's a 8-inch frying pan, so that's what I use. You put a tiny bit of oil in the bottom of it, stick it in your oven around 450, and you got to get that oil super hot. And once it's hot, you pour your batter into it, shove it back in the oven, and make sure you don't open the door for at least 20 minutes because it's like a souffle. It will go flat. But after 20 minutes, it's all right to open it. But stick it in there, and it take maybe, 30, 40 minutes until it rises and becomes golden brown. Man, it's delicious. So, there you go. That's how you make Yorkshire pudding. So, threw in an extra bonus there because I didn't have to cut it a week. So, I'm going to make that. I got some, actually, I got some pork chops. So, I'm going to actually cook some pork chops with my Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes. Now, what I do for roast potatoes, if anybody's interested, mine are golden, crispy on the outside, but when you cut into them, the potatoes all fluffy on the inside. You peel your potatoes, cut them into whatever size you want. I normally take a normal, I like using Idaho potatoes. It depends if they're huge ones, I'll cut them into 4 pieces. If they're normal size, about so, I'll just split them in half. Get yourself a deep pan, put some cooking oil in the bottom of it, lay your potatoes in there. Once you got them laid in there, roll them over for you get cooking oil all over them. Stick them in the oven at about 400. Stick them in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes. Pull them out, flip them over, put it back in for another 20, 25 minutes. Pull them out, and they'll be golden brown and fluffy on the inside. I'm telling you. So,
damn it, you're making me hungry.
Yeah, I'm making myself hungry too. I was thinking for tonight, I'm having Welsh rabbit, which basically is cheese on toast. That's an English name for it, Welsh rabbit. Toast my bread, put some butter on it, put some cheddar cheese on it, put it under the broiler till the cheese all melts and bubbles. Pull it out, put some salt and pepper on it. That's what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I've been thinking about it all day. But that roast potatoes, Yorkshire pudding, pork chops for tomorrow is sounding damn good too. So, and what I'll do is I'll do my pork chops in the oven, sort of like roast them. Like I'll put another pan in the oven, sort of like in the last when I put my potatoes in for the second time, I'll put the pork chops in a different pan in there and cook those along when the potatoes are cooking. it all comes out at the same time. You know? So, that's my dinner. So there you go. That's what I do with my life. I mean, that's how I'm fighting the coronavirus, by eating well. and I got my anti-malaria drug. So I'm good to go. So, all right. I'm going to call it quits. We've been going an hour and a half. So, you got any shout-outs or plugs, Tony?
Nope.
Well, I appreciate you showing up. We all missed you. Even G-Webs missed you, and he wasn't even here today. He normally comes in. But
My
he's
pleasure.
busy today. Yeah. So, try to make it next time. Set your calendar. You know, what you need to do is set your calendar on your phone and have it as a repeating thing every Saturday for it sets you an alarm to let you know the show's on.
Wouldn't matter, man. I don't carry my damn phone.
All right. But it's good to see you. It really is. Kingpin, any shout outs or plugs?
Yeah, we give a big shout out to you, Mr. Rick from Rick's Life as I See It. I love all these live streams and hanging out, but it's pretty much hands down, this is my favorite place on the internet to hang out. And everybody that comes on here has been so good to me. Thank you, everybody that comes into the chat room. And it's absolutely an honor to be able to sit back and hang out with Tony and Rick once again. I love seeing you guys together, and I'm glad I was a part of it today.
Well, thank you, David. Appreciate it. New York
Yes.
Outcast, any plugs or shout outs? You're muted. Hit your button. There you go.
Sorry. No, just, thanks for having me. Everybody be safe.
All right. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for being here. All of you. Southpaw says I should do a Rick's Life as I See It with UK Food Channel. And mind you, maybe that's the only way you can make money on YouTube, because you ain't going to make it doing Second Amendment firearm issues, are you? So, but even though they still put commercials in front of some of your guys' YouTube. When you click on them to watch them, a commercial will come up first. Kind of damn annoying, really. But anyway, I want to say thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. And it's a pleasure being here. And I'll be back on Wednesday with Shooting with Disabilities. If you guys got any topics you want to talk about on that, email them to me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com. And we can use them for topics. I'm open to anything like that. So just send them to me if you got anything you want to talk about. Or if you got anything other general you want to talk about for the Saturday show here, do the same thing. Just email me your questions, and we'll use them for topics. So I want to say, again, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Have a good afternoon or evening wherever you're at. And we will see you on Wednesday. So good afternoon, everybody.
Good day, everybody.